morning once again, and today I'm very happy to share with you about the knowledge on sacred names. Names that we believe are holy, names that may bring blessings to us, or names which people believe can bless them. So in other words, you have names which are sacred, names which we may say are holy, but also you have other names, like we said at the beginning of these talks, which are the names that we wear every day. So sacred names in the African society are actually extended a bit more to mean that actually they are godly names. It's not the holy in the sense that we know it normally in the other modern regions or Western regions, but they are also godly names. Names traditionally which refer to every aspect of our life, where our people who live traditional lives go to seek either blessings before they can engage in any activity. For example, activities of hunting, activities of when we get thunder or lightning and then you want to be protected. Ironically, however, I found that while people can get the names of the African gods or our traditional gods, names like Dungu, names like Mukasa, names like Chibuka, we rarely find people naming themselves Jesus. Yes, I know of about one or two people who are called Jesus. Or do we name ourselves because we believe Jesus is the Son of God, and Jesus, of course, is God in that aspect of the Trinity if you are a Christian. We rarely find people calling themselves Ruhanga or Katonda, although people may add Bya Katonda to mean those of God, or Bya Ruhanga, that one of God, or Karuhanga, and so many other additions or prefixes which we put there. One Ugandan writer whom I love to read, and I think he really explains our culture very well, that is Okot Pabitek, calls these sacred names joke names. Joke in Luo means also God, so he calls them joke names. And I think there is a name in Luo or joke, and all those are sacred names. Yeah, together let's look at some samples again from this book, this collection of names. As we say, it's actually sampling Ugandan names. Names are very many, we may not finish them. This name, it belongs to a person who is also working in our media here in Uganda, working with the Central Broadcasting Service, CBS, and his name is Dungu Davis. Now, I want to read just a few paragraphs of what he says about his name. Dungu is also my cultural name, and particularly in Uganda, it is given to people who come from Omutima or Heart clan. I was given the name by my auntie, who wanted me to replace her late father, my grandfather, Mr. Lekobam Dungu, who it is said that I resemble. Culturally, the name Dungu belongs to a god. God Dungu is the god for hunting, and certain rituals are usually performed for him whenever hunters prepare to go on a hunt. The god is symbolized in a dog-like form. A person who possesses the spirit of the god for hunting can also be called Dungu, even when he is not from the Omutima clan or the Heart clan. So in other words, some of these names which we call sacred names may also not respect the rule of being restricted to one clan, so long as that God is maybe working in the circumstances of people they may choose to call their child that name. For the case of Dung, of course, there were many reasons, as we had. So because sacred names are religious and spiritual in a way, you find that people who are born, for example, the spiritual births, I call them spiritual births because there must have been an intervention of God's will, that people are born like two, that is twins. You find that they follow this pattern of naming according either to, not to the God, but according to the spiritual birth. And of course, their names, for example, if it is Nakato or Nyakato, Nyangoma or Babirie, Waswa or Kato, Kakuru or Kato, you'll find that these names have a sense of recognizing that spiritual birth. The other sample I'm taking here is from Mazi Shadra Nakamia. Shadra is a Greek baby name. It is a feminine form of Alexander, meaning defender of men. According to the Greeks, people with the name have a deeper inner desire for love and companionship and to want to work with others to achieve peace and harmony. Nakamia is my other name. It is also a name from Uganda, but it is given special recognition because it's a title given to a girl who follows the birth of twins in a family. When twins are born, they are given the names like Nakato and Babirie, that is for girls, or Kato and Waswa if they are boys. Nakamia, a name belonging to a girl, or Kamia, the same name but belonging to a boy. Chugongo, also a boy's name, are all names for the two genders given to the children who follow Chiza. Chiza is the child who follows the twins. In other words, Nakamia is also taken as a murongo or a twin, although much emphasis is put on the twins, Nakato or Babirie, or Kato and Wasu. Finally, we also know or note that once we talk about these titles, and titles related to our birth, then it brings in what we mentioned briefly about the royal sort of hierarchy. People who are born as royals, the princes and princesses, already they get their titles and their names also are different. Another name we are sampling belongs to Chimera Muhammad. Chimera Muhammad is currently working in Bundbujo with a non-governmental organization. He says, the name Chimera identifies me as a Muganda who belongs to the Barangira or the royal clan. In Uganda, a Barangira are princes. However, I'm a prince who originates from the Emporogoma or the Ryan clan. The practice of royal names being given to people of Emporogoma clan began with Kabaka Chintu, Buganda's first king. Kabaka Chintu longed for a time when he would also belong to a clan like the other men in the palace. When he did, he chose to belong to Emporogoma or the Ryan clan. In other words, our names, we have seen that basically a name is a label, but that label sometimes carries with it attributes that we embody. Those attributes can work for or they can work against us, and that's why we must care about the names that we wear, whether they are stage names, personal names, whether they are cultural names, or whether they are indeed sacred names. Thank you very much. We meet next time.